Welcome aboard! In this video, we're taking you on our very first Alaska cruise, a 7-day adventure through wild landscapes and coastal towns as we share some unforgettable family moments.
First time on a cruise! We're on the cruise! We got through!
We set sail from Vancouver aboard the Norwegian Sun with Norwegian Cruise Line, and over the course of a week, we explored 4 ports of call: Ketchikan, Icy Strait Point, Juneau, and Sitka. From spotting wildlife and wandering through misty rainforests to discovering indigenous culture and enjoying local seafood, we experienced it all. This Alaska trip was extra special because it was a family vacation, one of our favorite ways to travel. It was my husband, our daughter, my parents, and I making memories together, both on the ship and on land. So whether you're planning your very own Alaska cruise or just want to see what it's like to sail through the last frontier, come along as we document our experience aboard the Norwegian Sun and share our Alaska itinerary. We'll cover everything including ports, excursions, and a complete ship tour. Think of this as your Alaska travel guide for cruisers. Now let's set sail. On day 1, we boarded our Alaska cruise at Canada Place in Vancouver. At first, we were quite overwhelmed by the lines, as 3 different cruise ships were boarding at the same time. However, we were surprised by how efficient the whole process was. Since this was our first cruise ever, we had no idea sail-away parties were a thing until Sam stumbled upon it while exploring the ship. It was a bit of a gray day in Vancouver, but that didn't stop the music and dancing on the sun deck. Because the cabins weren't ready when we first boarded, we grabbed lunch at the buffet, which was absolute chaos. Picture hundreds of hungry passengers trying to get out of the rain and congregating in one space. That moment did make us wonder if we'd made a mistake booking a cruise, since we had zero experience with this travel style. However, once the cabins were ready and people dispersed, it was fine. It was just a bit of a shock to the system for us newbies. Once boarding was completed, we found a spot to enjoy the views as we sailed out of the port of Vancouver, went under the Lionsgate Bridge, and began our journey to Alaska via the Outside Passage. Alrighty, so all aboard. The time has come. We are ready to set sail. So yeah, we're just going to be showing you guys as we leave the port of Vancouver. The views are so impressive.
Oh my gosh, we got so lucky. The weather was so awful this morning, and when we first arrived here, I was thinking we were going to be leaving the port without any visibility whatsoever. But now we've got a beautiful view, and we're on the 6th floor at the moment, and we can basically walk around the entire ship. So we've got views in any direction we want. It's going to be just awesome. The boat is just pulling away. So smooth, so gentle. We almost didn't even feel it like it was taking off, right?
Yes,
it's
amazing.
Like, what's going on? But here we go.
Day 2 was a sea day, and we were just starting to find our sea legs. Because we were cruising via the Outside Passage, the waves were quite choppy and we were feeling the movement. Rather than going to the buffet that morning, we decided to grab breakfast at the 7 Seas. This is an a la carte restaurant, and we got an open-faced smoked salmon bagel, buttermilk pancakes with blueberry syrup, muesli with a side order of fresh fruits, and a burrito breakfast wrap. This restaurant was wonderful and quickly became one of our favorites. We spent the rest of the day exploring the Norwegian Sun from top to bottom, so this is where we'll give you a tour of our inside cabin and the bathroom. Okay, so we are starting on the 4th floor. This is where our rooms are located. We have an inner room, no view, no window, no balcony.
Yeah, it's perfectly suited our needs though. We're very comfortable, and there are a lot of guests here. This is the longest corridor I've ever been in. It's like a hotel that doesn't end, and it's amazing. It kind of feels like we're on the Titanic a little bit, doesn't it?
Oh my gosh, let's hope not. Yes, we went for the most budget-friendly option. I honestly didn't mind not having a window in the room, and we all slept great, especially baby. As a tip, even if you're paying for the most basic room, you'll still have the option to bid on a better room without paying full price. Of course, you are taking your chances because these unsold rooms will go to the highest bidder. We were not successful in our bid. First things first, when you come in, you've got a closet on the right-hand side. We actually bothered unpacking, so everything is nice and orderly. We've got our packing cubes on the shelves. very neat and tidy. And then we also hung up all of our clothes. They gave us lots of hangers. Like, we were actually quite pleased. We didn't even need all of them, but shirts and pants are hanging. We have our backpacks, day packs, our suitcase, and of course, we cannot forget about the life jackets in case of an emergency. I was actually quite impressed that soon after check-in, like we had just arrived at our rooms, one of the attendants came by and brought us a life jacket for the baby, so they didn't forget about her and they brought something that's size appropriate for her. So she's got one as well. So here we've got more storage. We haven't needed any of this space, but we do have 3 drawers should you be traveling with more luggage than we are. We have a nice spacious desk with a phone, lots of outlets so that we can charge our electronics. There's a little stool there, a little seat, mirror so you can check out the outfit of the day. Hello, I'm gonna make another video about how to pack for a cruise to Alaska, so stay tuned for that one. We've got a TV and there are 2 channels that we've been checking out. There is one channel that is actually just a map that shows you where the ship is, how it's traveling up the coast along BC and towards Alaska. So I just like seeing how much progress we've made. And then there's another channel that shows you all the excursions you can go on each of the ports. So yeah, if you're not quite sure, like, what do you want to do in each of these places, watch the channel that shows you all the tours, because it's quite tempting. It makes you want to book some more tours, and we already have booked a few. Then over on this side, we've got a couch. There you go, 2 cushions, haven't used it. Up top here, we've got another bed, which again, we are not going to use. Baby does not need her own bed yet. However, if she did, there's a single up there. Let me show you what the room looks like. Still quite spacious. This person underneath would just have to be a little bit careful in the middle of the night not to bump their head. But that is the 3rd bed. And then here is I would call this a king-size bed. You've got 2 twins pushed together, and I can tell you it is quite spacious. We slept really well last night. And here, some artwork. So that is the tour of the room. Next, I'm going to take you to the bathroom so you can see what that is like. Okay, so next up, it's time for a little tour of the bathroom. What does a bathroom look like aboard a cruise ship? I'm gonna show you what it's like for our cabin. We are in the cheapest cabins, the inner rooms, but yes, let's check out the bathroom. So I've got the door right behind me, and as soon as I walk in on the left-hand side, we have our shower. It is a round shower. Here we've got conditioning, shampoo, and also body wash. And if we continue looking up here, we have a shower head, and we've got a curtain so the whole bathroom doesn't get soaked when you take your shower. Also, something very useful, we've got a drying line here, so if you hand wash your clothes, you can hang them up here so that they drip dry. Continuing on, then we've got the toilet right here. That's the button that you press to flush. You want to make sure the lid is down. And then here is the hair dryer. Over on this side, we've got our bath towels, 3 of them. We have our hand towels. And we also have our face cloths or washcloths. And I'm really impressed because they have given us 3 towels, so they didn't forget about baby. She gets one too. Then we have our sink here, hot and cold water. We have extra rolls of toilet paper. And then we have the soap dispenser for the hand soap. This is where you would plug in your shavers. They left us 2 glasses for brushing our teeth. And as you can see, we've got lots of space to put our toiletry kit, or we can hang it on here on the door. So I've got to say, I'm quite impressed with the amount of space we have here in the bathroom. I thought it was going to be a lot tighter and just more cramped, but it's been very comfortable. I've already used the shower as well. Nice water pressure and piping hot. So you can control the temperature. I like it piping hot, and I can get it piping hot, which is great. So yes, now you know what a bathroom looks like aboard Norwegian cruise lines, specifically the Norwegian Sun.
So there isn't much more to show you on the 4th floor because it's all accommodations. But what's fascinating is that we have these maps on every single level of the boat. They're literally indispensable. If we didn't have these, I'm sure we'd be getting a lot more lost.
Okay, so we are leaving the 4th floor behind, taking the stairs up to the 5th, gonna work off all the food we have been consuming.
Yeah.
And what do we have on the 5th?
On the 5th, this is actually where we've been consuming the food.
Yes.
These are probably the 2 best restaurants that we can eat at. So we've been going to the 4 Seasons and also the 7 Seas.
Yes.
Love both. And yeah, this is so much better than the buffet on the 11th floor. Not that the buffet is bad or anything, just the quality of the food at these 2 particular restaurants is superb.
So, oh, okay, I should mention this. I've just noticed it. Look, seasick bags is what they call them. Barf bags. I just noticed those. We are experiencing very choppy seas.
Does someone say barf bags?
Yes.
Actually, I'm so lucky I don't get seasick. You sort of do, and your mother's even worse. So I feel for you too. I do.
Yes.
I do.
Neither one of us has puked yet, thankfully. Hopefully that does not happen. But I didn't mean to speak about vomit. What I wanted to tell you is that on the 5th floor, aside from the 2 restaurants that Sam mentioned, the ones that we've been going to, the 7 Seas and the 4 Seasons, you can eat at for free. But they also have fancy restaurants where you can make reservations, including La Cucina Italian restaurant. And then there's also the Atrium Cafe and Bar. So let's go to the Atrium. They have macarons and fancy coffee at that cafe, FYI. Alrighty, so here to the right, the Atrium Bar and Cafe, people hanging out, having their coffee, having their cocktails.
Yeah, this is kind of the main meeting hall. Here you can book your excursions, apparently sign up for different types of credit cards related to cruising. And it's great. I think they're the nicest elevators here. You get like that see-through glass as you're going up and down.
Ooh, let's do
cool
that.
Area, yeah.
Elevators. We're gonna go up to 6.
We're making the impossible journey up 1 level.
Oh my!
Don't blink, don't blink, don't blink.
In the fancy elevator.
Over.
We're here. There is a lot
Yes.
happening on the 6th floor.
Floor 6 is maybe the busiest floor in terms of what's available.
Yes, tell
We've
us.
got the Stardust Theater, the Bliss Ultra Lounge, the Windjammer Bar, and that's just the bar's entertainment, shopping, amenities and activities, internet cafe, cruise consultant, the library, photo gallery, retail shop, photo studio, meeting room, jogging tracks, and even a few staterooms here too. So
Alrighty.
a lot going on.
What should we do first? Shall we do the jogging track? I feel like the sun has come out.
Yeah, we could. This is the first nice view we've had today, so let's go check it out.
Let's show it to you.
Let's show it to you.
Now, before we continue with our tour of the Norwegian Sun, I want to tell you about our friends at Cruises It. They're one of the top agencies for all major cruise lines, and they offer discounted rates and bookings with extra perks. For example, for our first cruise to Alaska, they hooked us up with a photo package so we were able to capture some nice memories from the trip. On top of that, they offer the best rate guarantee with their cruise fare watch system, meaning they track prices right up until your final payment. So if you want to save on your next cruise, check them out. You can either click the link in the description box to book on your own, or give them a call if you prefer a more personal touch. Now, let's get back to our tour of the Norwegian Sun. Windjammer Bar. Hello.
We're at the Windjammer Bar. I'm simulating as if I was having a Cuban cigar, because you can buy them here.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, this is a really cool place. This has like that retro vintage charm. Just want to like kick back, enjoy a drink, have a cigar. I've actually seen a lot of people come here and play games, board games together. So nice place to lounge, and yeah, I love the retro vibes. It just shows how many neat theme rooms you can find here in the cruise ship.
Well, this is the library. Lots of books in lots of different languages. You can see Espanol. 7th floor. What are we gonna find?
And we're moving on up to the 7th floor. Bars, entertainment, shopping, activities, and staterooms.
Ooh, la la.
Oh, the casino straight away. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go there.
Shopping. One of the many things you can do here.
So you can buy yourself a fancy watch, you can get yourself a new camera, or you can get the beverage of your choice. There's lots of different options. A lot of it is aimed at the kind of high-end luxury level.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
So on this floor, we also have the champagne bar, and then half of the floor is more staterooms. But I think you're getting a pretty good idea of how massive this place is. So yeah, we just went through the casino, there's a champagne bar, the art gallery, another entrance point to the theater. So let's go on up. Another floor is calling our name.
We have more to show.
Okay, so we are now waiting at the elevators. Floors 8, 9, and 10, we are going to bypass. It is all staterooms. More rooms, nothing else. We're gonna jump up to 11, where we have more dining, bars, and lounges. Lots of them. Let's see if we can hit them all up.
Oh, we got another really cool elevator.
Fancy elevator. I like these elevators with the glass. My dad keeps calling it the Titanic staircase. He thinks it looks quite fancy.
Yeah, it does. We're saving our legs for the actual floors. We could walk on the staircase.
Oh, and there's a fitness center. I can see it already.
There we go.
And a spa.
All right, so just so we don't miss anything, we've got the Oasis pool and hot tub sun deck, Topsiders bar, Moderno Churrascaria, video arcade, garden cafe sports bar, and the great outdoors cafe.
Oh my, oh my.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah. This is also where the buffet is on the 11th floor.
Okay. The sun came out.
We got some sun. That's crazy. So this is the place where you come out and have fun. This is where you have the pool, the hot tubs. This is the places where you can lounge like a lizard. And you've also got a bar over there.
Oh.
So yeah, this is a fun spot. When we first boarded the cruise, they were having like a Cuban dance party. And people of all ages were joining around and doing like this kind of like train all around the pool area. It was a lot of fun to watch.
I totally missed that. Where was I?
Yeah, I can't remember why we were separated, but we were for a bit, and I got to see that. You didn't.
Fun. So we are now at the Garden Cafe. I would say this is probably the busiest restaurant on the whole ship for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Just a lot of people. I don't know if they don't know about the other restaurants that are really nice, or they just want a quick meal.
Well, that's the case. When we first came here, we didn't know any better. Now that we do, we tend to only come here for snacks and drinks when we're, in between meals, let's say. But when we first arrived here on the cruise ship, the rooms weren't ready. So basically the whole ship was here. It was absolute chaos.
Yeah.
And that was our introduction to cruising. It was a little overwhelming, to say the least.
We kind of thought, what have we gotten ourselves into? Are we going to like cruising?
I know, it was like, what kind of a zoo are we in? But since everyone's settled into their rooms and everyone's doing different things now, the whole cruise is being utilized across the board, so that means that there's no longer the crowds here.
And look at that little mop blowing in the wind.
Yeah, this is the best view we've had all day.
This is the best weather we've had since we set sail.
I know. We were kind of worried, is it just going to be gray and overcast and rainy the whole time? No, the sun has come out. Guys, this is the West Coast. When you do get the sun, you appreciate every single moment of it. Believe me, I'm from here.
So we've got 4 different restaurants here. Los Lobos, Teppanyaki, Sushi Bar, and Cagney's Steakhouse. Oh, the variety.
Teppanyaki, look at that. That's really cool. Check that out.
Ooh.
Cool, huh?
Nice. You can watch as they prepare the food right in front of you.
I know, that's so cool. And then down here we got a steakhouse.
Ooh. This has got to be the sushi bar. Hello. And the steakhouse.
Yeah, check this out.
Nice.
Steakhouse is plenty prepared for your wine consuming efforts later.
Check out the size of those.
Check out those. Those are some nice goblets, huh?
Yes, you need wine if you're having steak.
Of course you do.
Going to the chapel cause we're gonna get married. Going to the chapel
cause we're already married. Just kidding.
You wanna renew your vows?
No. Not really. Once was enough.
This is the observation lounge.
So this is also one of the coolest bars on the ship. You have epic views and it's a great place to lounge. There's apparently a band coming to play because they're all set up over there. They have the drum kit, everything, and a really cool looking bar. So it's hard to find seats here though. When we came earlier in the day, completely full.
Yes, it fills up very fast.
Snag them early.
Snag them, and this is the bar. There you go. Day 3 brought us to our first port of call, Ketchikan, which is often called Alaska's first city since it's the first major port of call for northbound ships. I booked 2 tours for this destination, the Great Alaskan Lumberjack Show and the Crab Feast, so it was an action-packed day. Alrighty guys, so we are off the ship. We just disembarked here in Ketchikan. First of all, check out the size of the Norwegian Sun. This thing is massive, and yeah, we have just docked. It was so foggy this morning, we could not see a thing. We weren't sure what to expect. What are we gonna find when we disembark? Are we going to be able to enjoy the views, see anything? But it looks like the sun is starting to come out. We've got some partially clear skies. So yes, we are heading into town. Right now we are docked at Ward Cove, so we've got about a 20-minute ride into town. Transportation is provided by Norwegian Cruise Lines, so we need to go find our bus and make our way into town. And you know what? Because we are up so early, like I think most people are still sleeping or having breakfast, there isn't a lot of action. So yeah, I think we're gonna have no problem just getting on a bus and going right away without a long wait. Because check out the deck. It's just us and a couple of other passengers who've gotten off. Alrighty, so we just rode the bus into town, 20-minute ride, and we learned some fun facts about Ketchikan. We learned
some amazing facts. Our bus driver was just totally awesome. He was just spewing knowledge the whole time. First really cool fact, there are more bears here than people. 10,000 black bears compared to 8,000 residents. And the wildlife here is very similar to Vancouver Island. There's certain animals that you might expect to be here that are not. For instance, the brown or grizzly bear does not exist here. Also no moose as well, but you do have the black bears. The town is really cool. It has like kind of a port/frontier vibe. And it was just fascinating to drive through the wilderness and to arrive here in the main part of town. Now we're gonna hit the ground on foot for a bit.
Another thing I'll mention, Ketchikan, we're on an island right now. I thought we were on the mainland. That is not the case. And we learned that Ketchikan has several titles, so lots of capitals. It is the salmon capital, the bear capital, and also the totem capital with 80 totems.
And it is the first port of Alaska as well. So we're catching up on facts and history.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to seeing some totems. Apparently they're made from red cedar, and they mentioned that there's 80 of them scattered across town. So we're gonna go in search of those. Alrighty, here we are surrounded by a whole bunch of different ships. These are the ones that dock right downtown.
Yeah, beautiful little town. It has that feel about the New England fishing towns kind of thing. Very cloudy and a bit foggy today, but we're hoping the sun is going to come out. And another thing I was just thinking about is that it's amazing how these small towns, these communities, how important tourism is for them.
Yes.
Because here we have 1, 2, 3 huge cruise ships, plus the one we came in, that's 4, and there is another one coming in today. So that will be 5 cruise ships altogether. The city has 8,500 residents.
Yeah.
And each one of these ones, if you calculate, let's say an average 3,000 people each, that's 15,000 people that just arrived altogether in a town that has 8,500 residents. So it more than double the population of the town. Can you imagine the influx of kind of cash that makes these communities survive?
Yeah.
That's so important, you know, that's the importance of the tourism in some places that a lot of time people don't realize, but hey, lifesaver here.
Yeah, right? It keeps the town alive, keeps it afloat.
Now we're gonna see if we walk around town a little bit.
Yes.
You know, it's kind of, it's very humid here. I think humidity right now is like 90%. and we thought they were advertising like a heat wave today.
They were. They
like
were.
27, 30 Celsius, and we're kind of
Waiting for the heat. Maybe if the sun comes out, we'll experience it.
yeah, because right now I'm you know, all I have is this hoodie, and it's kind of borderline, okay?
Yeah.
So if you come down this way, don't assume that it's going to be hot and you're going to be able to enjoy it with a short sleeve. Always carry like something in your backpack.
Yes.
To be sure. Okay?
Good advice.
Yeah.
Good advice.
Okay, let's go walk.
So we are doing a little bit of shopping. We were a little bit cold, you know, and we thought maybe get a toque. I don't know, get a little souvenir. So yeah, they have really good deals. Like this store has a 3 baseball caps for $20 special. So we're just looking around, also picking up some souvenirs for the grandchildren. And yeah, just doing a little shopping before we head off on our first tour of the day.
This is how much it's rained up today. 170 inches. See where the fish is?
Yeah. That's insane.
A lot
So
of
the
rain in
highest-
Ketchikan.
The highest was in 1949. They had 202 inches. I mean, it feels like there's like 5 of me stacked on top of each
This
other.
feels like it would be a flood.
Absolute flood. So I'm not surprised about this at all because I grew up in a geography very similar to here on Vancouver Island, and we got an insane amount of rain. And so yeah, you would not want to be here, especially in the winter months or also in the late fall, early spring. Summer is probably a bit better right now, but my gosh, that really puts it into perspective when you have this giant display.
Voila.
Also has some really interesting information too. This is Alaska's 4th biggest city. Shows where we are. It's the very southern tip of Alaska.
Yeah.
And it's a big state. There's so much to explore. We're only going to get to see a small fraction of the southern part.
So we just got out of the show, the Great Alaskan Lumberjack.
Yeah, lumberjack show, logging show. It was very interesting. Sadly, they wouldn't allow to make videos, only pictures. So I guess you guys took a few good pictures.
Yes, we're going to show you what it was all about.
Yeah, one thing that really amazed me was the sharpness of the axes. Every time they swung the axe and they hit the wood, like they were removing pieces, like chips of a size that you say, wow, if this guy hits the leg, he cut it and sliced it in half. You know, those things were sharp as razor blades. And yeah, it was very nice. It was actually super interesting to watch. And supposed to be like 2 teams, one from the United States, one from Canada, and they were kind of competing against each other, and they made it fun, you know?
Yes.
Like a lot of screaming, and you know, Aurelia was in her you know, in the good spot because she was also screaming and clapping.
Yes,
and
she was.
but it's so small and she was having such a good time. But anyways, it's worth coming here if you pass by and you have a chance to see one of these shows. I would highly recommend it.
Sounds good.
It's very nice. We had a good time.
We did.
So now
We keep going, keep
we'll
exploring
going.
the town.
Let's keep visiting the town, and then we go back to the boat, and we're gonna eat something.
Let's
I'm
go.
getting hungry. Huh?
You're hungry already. Oh
All
my.
right.
It would be so nice to see it.
Aurelia! Hi, baby. Oh, what a happy baby!
It's time for a crab feast. I'm so hungry. I've worked up a big appetite. This little one, though, is sleeping blissfully. Look at her.
So we couldn't come to Ketchikan and not try the crab. Yes, this may be the salmon capital of the world, but the Dungeness crab is another local specialty. This is a type of crab found on the west coast of North America, extending from Alaska's Aleutian Islands all the way down to California. Also, we saw whales on the drive over. The timing was impeccable.
Oh, I got it again. Oh, look, we went whale watching.
Alrighty guys, so today we came to George Inlet Lodge for a crab feast. The plan to eat as much crab as possible. We started off with a salad and then it was time for our all-you-can-eat crab feast. The meat was sweet and delicate and it tasted delicious dunked in butter. Our host even got a bit of a competition going. Who can build the highest tower using crab shells and whatever else we could find at the table? So you don't just come here for the crab, you come here for the views.
Yeah, baby's loving it. Beautiful, absolutely stunning property. Right out here on the water. I could spend the whole afternoon here, but unfortunately we do have to go soon.
This was a super fun food tour during our port of call in Ketchikan, and we made it back to the cruise ship with time to spare.
We're back at Ward Cove after an absolutely amazing crab feast. Honestly, a feast for the ages. It was all you could eat, and we took it seriously because the remnants of the crab feast were stacked on a plate, and there was a competition to see who could have the highest in inches. So
the highest tower of crab shell.
Yeah, seriously, and I think we were pretty close to winning if we didn't win. Yeah, it's just a great experience. Beautiful location down there. It's the kind of place that makes you want to go, not just eat, but you want to linger and stay too, if that was an option. Fantastic food, great service, really good young people working in the tourism field. Yeah, it was Wyatt and Sydney, I believe.
Yes,
who took care of us.
To them.
Shout out to both of them. They were excellent. That was our shuttle driver and our server. They were a young married couple, and they were just fantastic at their jobs.
Yeah, working in Alaska for the summer.
Yeah.
How adventurous. I love it.
How adventurous. You gotta love it. So overall, just really good food, really good experience, and would highly recommend that. And we also got some hats, 3 for $15, so that your parents can enjoy being a moose, a bear, and an eagle. So why not, right?
Nice. I'll also mention that visit kind of turned into a bit of a wildlife safari. It wasn't meant to be, but on the drive down to the lodge, we ended up seeing killer whales like orcas, loads of them coming up on the surface of the water. We saw deer, we saw bears. What else did we see? A bald eagle. It was just insane. So yeah, super fun, super exciting, and would highly recommend. Okay, so we are pulling out of Ketchikan. We spent the day here. What did you think? Thoughts, impressions?
Well, I found it to be really interesting. Not only the scenic part, but also the history of this little town. But apparently they had
a paper mill.
A paper mill here for many years. Apparently was one of the biggest in the world. And due to environmental issues and foreign competition, that thing was forced to shut down. And 500 people they lost their jobs. And that was the main industry of this little town. To me, this is a 100% example of how when things go bad, there is always an opportunity to turn around and to get something maybe even better than what you had before. Instead of just despairing and saying, wow, we're done, we're doomed, we're finished as a town or as a city, these people, they got the idea of starting with this cruise ship tourism. And right now, the amount of people that land in this town is just staggering. And I think that right now, it's also much better because there is much more people involved in the tourism industry and making a living out of the tourism industry than before, that there was only 500 people living out of the paper mill. That's the part that it really got to me, and I say, wow, a terrible situation when an industry disappears from a town or from a city. You can always find something else. There are always possibilities and options. And I really, all I can say is congratulations to these people. They I think they came up ahead, up on top. So that's my impression. The place itself is, well, typical Alaska, magnificent. You know, like, I mean, the nature here is all around you. You can see it everywhere. And yeah, I think I highly recommend it.
For sure.
Come and visit.
Sounds
Right?
good. Thank you.
Okay.
Day 4 brought us to Icy Strait Point, one of Alaska's more unique cruise destinations. Located near the village of Hoona, this port is 100% owned and operated by the local Tlingit community, which means the experience here is deeply rooted in Indigenous culture and traditions. Cruisers can expect a mix of Alaskan heritage, breathtaking wilderness, and outdoor adventures like zip lining, treetop trekking, whale watching, or simply walking the scenic trails through the old-growth forest. This is a quieter, more nature-focused stop, and I really enjoyed it. Alrighty, friends, good morning. This is our second port of the trip of the cruise to Alaska, and right now we are disembarking in Icy Strait Point. This place is spectacular. We are in the middle of the forest, and first thing we're seeing as we get off the cruise ship, 2 bald eagles right in front of us. Pretty amazing. So yeah, we're just gonna try and get a little bit closer and show you the wildlife here. It's amazing. Again, really great weather today. It's a little bit overcast, but it's nice and pleasant. So today is gonna be all about enjoying nature, wildlife,
Oh my gosh, I've just
walking.
just running up ahead to get a shot of a bald eagle.
Bald
I mean,
eagle.
we haven't even got off of the platform yet, and
Yeah.
already we're being treated to spectacular wildlife. So excited to be here. This is definitely a more tranquil destination, a really small place.
Yes.
I think we're just gonna wander around, do some hiking. There's an opportunity to go to the gondola. Just so happy to be here. It's so beautiful.
So as soon as you get off the dock, you've got kind of like this welcome area with an information center. You can book different tours. And the first thing you spot, of course, is the gondola. That's one of the main activities here. And then also they have one of the biggest zip lines in the world.
Right.
Alrighty, we have 2 options, guys.
Yes, and we're gonna do both of them.
Yes, we
But
are.
we'll talk about both. So first off, we're gonna be taking the transporter gondola. This beautiful gondola system.
It's free.
It's free for anybody. And then we're gonna come back on the nature trail. It's
Yes.
only a 15-minute walk.
FYI, there's bear activity.
Yes,
Gotta be careful.
There's bear activity. It says so. There's a sign. So yeah, be careful and be aware of the bears, obviously. But yeah, let's go check it out. Okay, we made it. We made it.
The old one, the very old one. Le llaman el paternoster,
Yeah,
no? They have those.
What a smart idea for them to do this. Oh yeah.
Got all the trail that you left between the trees, huh?
Yeah.
I think you'll save yourself.
Alrighty, so I'm gonna show you here on the map. That is where we started. That's where our cruise ship is docked. We took the gondola over to this area. And next, there's a nice little boardwalk. We can walk up to there, to that section where we've got the Hoona Cannery. So I think that is our plan. Oh, people are ziplining behind us. I don't know if you can see them going past. That's a little too scary for me. Yeah, but the ride was really nice. You just go through the middle of the forest and it is like so thick and dense and lush. You can tell they get a lot of rain over here. And yeah, it's just a beautiful ride. The scenery is spectacular. We're planning to walk back once we're done with our day of sightseeing so that we can actually enjoy being in the woods, being in the thick of it. But yeah, here we've got a nice little stop with some restaurants. There's a smokehouse, washroom facilities, that sort of thing. And yes, just having a lot of fun. This is a really cool spot that I had never even heard of before. So very excited to be here in Icy Strait Point. I just want action, action. here we are walking along the beach with Aurelia in arms with Grandpa, and you noticed something. Something caught your attention.
Yeah.
Do tell.
What caught my attention was the size of this log.
I'm going to show
Look
you
at this
here.
beast.
Look at this behemoth. It runs all the way, like down there. That's a tree.
Passing that little tree there. And also, all of these ones, they have the chain system.
Yes.
Okay, this one has the chain, and this one has the clip. That means that these logs were the ones that were used on the perimeter. You know, when they float the trees and the logs down the water by the lake or the river, it looks like a huge raft, but the logs in the middle are just loose. And the ones all around the edges, they have these chains.
Yeah, they're tied up together.
Yeah, they tied up together, and then the tug pulls from them. So this is to avoid that the logs that are floating in the middle and they're not tied to anything, they just wander off with the current and they disappear. So it's basically like a ring made out with this, and that's how they transport. Because around here, you know, you have no roads and you have no means of transporting anything other than by water, and that's how they do it. They bring it to the mills, floating, and then they just process them for whatever it is that they need, like boards or posts and beams and whatever, right? But this is the way that it is done here in these parts of the world.
And another thing that you were mentioning, these are cedar trees.
Yeah.
And the other day we learned that they use red cedar to carve the totem poles that we've been seeing.
Yeah, because the cedar is one of the trees that has the most
it's like durability, would you say?
Yeah, durability at the
to the elements.
With the element, to the weather. It doesn't rot. So a cedar tree, once it's been cut, it can stand for years, decades, and maybe hundreds of years without getting rotten. And this is also a tree that has a natural repellent for all these insects that like to chew and eat and carve and bore in the wood. So the cedar is also a natural repellent. The smell of the cedar, there's got to be something there that is like a mothball, a giant mothball, right? It's a cedar tree. Amazing.
I'm taking it down, so
Different kinds of salmon. Who knew there were so many? My gosh. Whoa. Apparently the king salmon is running right now, and the bears love to eat that one. It's the biggest. So we are learning all about salmon, how it was processed, how it was canned.
Yeah, it's amazing. This is the cannery, and they have actually they have the original machines that they were using for to process the salmon. The fish is not real, of course, it's make-believe, you know, but they have different stations, and they show over there on that side how the fish was gutted and the head and the fins were removed over here. And then on the other side, we have the actual canning process. It's super interesting because this is not stuff that was made just for the museum. It's the actual machine that these people were using back in the day. And, you know, you wonder how did they manage with so little. When you get to be my age, these are the type of things that makes you wonder how many generations of people worked in a place like this, in a factory, in a cannery like this, how many mothers and fathers they have to put in the days to feed the family and to bring up the kids. And it must have been a real hard life, because back in the day here, I don't think there was much other than the cannery or going to the bush and with an axe and fell trees, there was no other means or possibilities of making a dollar, if you will. So this was kind of maybe for a lot of people a forced situation to get into, and having to work in a place like this just because survival dictated it.
Okay, since we've been talking about salmon, let's actually talk about the life cycle of the salmon, which we can see here in the diagram. But my dad, Daniel, is going to give us a quick lesson. Is this a biology lesson here?
Yeah, salmon is so good to eat, but a lot of people ignore completely what's the salmon life like,
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about farm salmon, because those they live in a cage, basically. We're going to talk about wild salmon. The salmon is born in a very shallow and small creek, usually up in the mountain, with a very crystal clear water, and the bottom has to be pebbled. Okay, that's where the salmon is born. That's where the females lay the eggs, and that's where the males
fertilize
the egg. What happened the first month of life, they live there where they're born. They get strong, and then slowly they start swimming out of that little creek. They go into a bigger river and a bigger river, and they always swim towards the. Here we're in the West Coast, so they swim towards the Pacific Ocean. Once they reach the ocean, they go, and they spend, depending on the different species of salmon, the time could vary, but usually around 4 years they spend swimming around the Pacific Ocean, getting big. Getting nicely and fat. And then the time comes when they have to reproduce again. And slowly, from that huge ocean water, slowly they make their way to the same place where they were born, exactly the same spot. They come into the ocean through the bigger rivers, and they swim upstream always, because the river flows towards the ocean, so the salmon is fighting always the current, and sometimes they have to go over some falls. And slowly they get to the same area where they were born. And that's where the female will lay the eggs again, and the male will fertilize, and that's the cycle of life is over. The salmon dies there. Now, it's over for the fish, but it's not over for nature, because out of that you have all kinds of wild animals that they feed and they survive thanks to the salmon, because they eat it. You have a lot of the natural trees and vegetation that can thrive because of the nutrient they get from the salmon. Usually the bears or the wolves or the foxes or the eagles will take them into the forest, consume part of it, and the rest will be there left to rot. So once it's rotten, that goes into the ground, and it gives a lot of nutrient to the trees and the plants. And as you can see, it's a cycle of life that not only feeds a human being, that they fish the salmon and then we eat it, but it also serves to feed a whole variety of wildlife and even the plant life, okay? This is one of the biggest mysteries of life. No one knows exactly for sure. There are some theories, but no one knows exactly for sure how does the salmon manages to, after swimming 4 years in the Pacific Ocean, make his way back to the same spot, little mountain creek, where he was born. What kind of GPS is the Earth magnetic field that guides them? We don't know for sure. But the thing is that this fish can find his way back to the origins. And that's the story of the cycle of life, life cycle of the salmon that a lot of people don't know. It's a marvel of nature, right?
Thank you for that lesson.
I hope I didn't bore you with it.
No, that was fascinating.
Okay.
So I really enjoyed visiting the cannery area and so appreciated the history tour you did with your father. That was fascinating. Yes, there's a gift shop. Yes, there's also places to eat, but they have a fascinating museum inside so you can learn about the history of this place and also about the history of Alaska and the different industries they've had over the years. So I found this a really fascinating place to go. Very laid back, very chill, and we spent probably almost 2 hours here. So we had a really good time.
Okay, so we are now walking back to the cruise ship, and you saw us come on over via the gondola. Now we are going back on foot. There's a nice hike. It's a 15-minute hike, and it's a trail that winds through the forest, and all around us we can also see the treetop trekking. That's one of the activities that you can do here in Icy Strait Point. So if you're feeling adventurous and you don't have a problem with heights, they have all sorts of obstacle courses. You can also see them behind me. And I wanted to share one piece of advice. If you are traveling as a young family with babies or little kids, it's good to have an all-terrain stroller with big wheels, especially if you're planning to do the hiking, because here we are on like a dirt trail with a bit of gravel. I mean, if you do have the simpler, smaller umbrella-style stroller, you'll probably want to come and go via the gondola because you're going to struggle. You'll probably lose a wheel. But we have my dad pushing Aurelia, who fell asleep, finally.
Yeah. This here, Alaska, the last frontier, is not for flimsy equipment or Mickey Mouse things. Here you need, you know, equipment that can take it, and the stroller is a good example of that.
Yeah.
If you come with a little umbrella, folding stroller, $29.99 kind of thing that you put in the city, here you're going to destroy it, and you end up carrying the baby in one hand and the stroller in the other one. So get yourself a 4x4 stroller, and then you won't have any problem.
There you go.
Believe me, it's
there
a good piece of advice.
He's had 3 kids, so he knows.
Despite the abundance of forest wildlife ranging from deer, bear, and moose, there are no snakes to be found in Alaska.
Look at the size of the leaves. Like, I need to put my hand here just for scale. Look at the size of that.
It looks like we're walking through Jurassic Park. The size of some of these plants, it's just out of this world, especially under a canopy of pine tree like this, you know. It seems like really we are in some, even, I don't know, subtropical, or even it looks in some area look like a tropical forest.
This one we call the lettuce. Look at that.
The lettuce, you know, look at this. And also the when you touch under the tree trunks, it seems like it is a sponge. You know?
Yeah, like a cushion of leaves.
It's like some sort of a cushion of moss and all kinds of debris, and that's a good indication of the amount of water that must fall over here in the way of rain. You know, otherwise you couldn't have, you know, this type of vegetation. This only, you know, these are all species that require a lot of water, and I mean not just a couple of days of rain a month. I mean heavy stuff. And the height of these trees, it seems like these ones, they grow forever, and that's also probably due to the good excess of water that they receive. So
water, water, water.
Amazing.
Rain, rain, rain.
Yeah.
Friends, I just completed an epic ride up on the Sky Peak gondola. Check it out on my wrist here. Everyone else was basically hanging out and chilling back on the cruise ship. We had a very busy day, kind of just wandering around, but I thought I had one more activity still in me, so I decided to do this. It was $49. I've got to tell you, I used up all of my courage points for the day. That was one of the steepest gondola rides I've ever been on. There's an area where it just feels like there's just pure vertical ascent. Anyways, the views were simply phenomenal. As soon as you get to the top, you get off and there's this viewpoint of Glacier Bay, and you're like, this is the Alaska I came here to see. The raw wilderness, the ice-capped mountains, the pristine water. I mean, just nature at its finest. Raw, rugged beauty here in Alaska, and it was so worth it. Upon finishing that, I just went on the little nature hike that they have on offer. It wasn't spectacular, just an easy little walk. You have a little bit of a lookout point, but that's not the highlight. The reason to go up there is for the epic views, and it was definitely worth it. 49 bucks, and that covers your return trip. So I'm really glad I went up there, and that is it for me today. I'm gonna partake in the siesta just like everyone else.
Alrighty, whew, it's windy. So we are now leaving Icy Strait Point. We spent the day here. It was beautiful. Enjoyed it so much more than I thought I would. I mean, when I heard we weren't actually visiting a real town, that this is just a stop for cruising, I wasn't sure what it would be like, because everything we visit today has been built for tourists. But honestly, it was really fun. We got to visit a museum and learn about salmon canning, and the trail through the forest was just gorgeous. Sam ended up taking the gondola. Well, we also took one of the gondolas, but like not the epic one that goes up the mountains. And yeah, it was just a lot of fun. Now we are continuing onwards to Juneau, and the captain just came on the speakers and announced that there's a very good chance we'll be able to do some whale watching on the way to Juneau. The water is super calm right now. Like, we have really lucked out with the weather. So we've just grabbed a table here on the outer deck with the whole family, and we're gonna see, maybe we got lucky and we see some humpback whales or some killer whales. We already saw whales in Ketchikan, so I mean, we've ticked that box, but it'd be great to see some more. And yeah, we're just going to enjoy the journey. We've got really long summer days at the moment. So yeah, perfect for just enjoying the scenery here in Alaska. This has been a lot of fun. I'm enjoying cruising. First cruise, and I'm sold on the concept, so it'll be the first of many.
Yeah, very different.
On day 5, we reached Juneau, and we had one goal: to reach the Mendenhall Glacier. Alrighty, good morning, and welcome to Juneau.
Oh, it's a little chilly this morning, huh?
It sure is. It is foggy, it is misty, moody. It looks beautiful.
This is the Alaska I also imagined. I knew we weren't gonna get sunny days all the time, but we're so excited to be here. This is going to be the biggest destination we visit, the capital city of Alaska. A lot of people don't know that.
Yes.
I think it would be Anchorage, but no, it's Juneau. And yeah, we're just pumped to be here. We all had a good sleep. We're all well rested. Today's going to be a bit of a misty, moody day, but we're going to make the most of it and get out here and explore, see all the things to do here in Juneau. We're really pumped.
So this is our third port of our Alaska cruise. And today the plan is to try and reach the Mendenhall Glacier. That is the main attraction here. So we're gonna go in search of the shuttle that takes us there. And then we just wanna do some hiking, explore the town. Honestly, I love the colorful buildings and the way they contrast against the greenery of the forest and the fog. So it's gonna be really fun to take some photos and bring you along for that. And yeah, just ready to explore. We're starting off super early. Today we docked at 6 a.m. We're just getting off now at 7:30, but we've got plenty of time ahead of us to enjoy Juneau. So we just got off the bus.
We did. We're going to visit the glacier, the main attraction here in Juneau. And we were so impressed by the public bus service. You could take tours and all kinds of tour buses to get here, but we decided to go the local way.
Yes.
We took number 8, the express bus.
Yes.
We had the nicest driver. I wish I caught his name, but he was so kind. We didn't have exact change. It's $2 per adult. Babies ride for free. So I only had a $20 bill. So it's like, you know what? Just pay double when you get back. So,
yes.
So kind of him. It was a really nice ride. We got to go through the downtown a little bit, and then we went through it seems like some very scenic areas. We saw some bald eagles, and then we also got to go through some industrial and residential areas. So we really got to see how spread out Juneau is. And I think it's an excellent way if you're traveling on a budget, you want to save a little bit of money, take the local transportation. And we're very happy we got dropped off, and now we have about 1.5 miles to the visitor center.
So like Sam mentioned, the express bus is the number 8. That one runs every 30 minutes. But if you happen to miss it, you can also catch bus number 3 or bus number 4. That one is going to take you a bit longer, anywhere between 50 minutes to an hour. But I mean, if you've got the time and you want to sightsee, you get to see more of Juneau. The Mendenhall Glacier is a massive blue river of ice nestled in the Tongass National Forest. It's one of Alaska's most accessible glaciers, just a short drive from downtown, and it truly takes your breath away the moment it comes into view. We spent time at the Mendenhall Glacier Visitor Center learning about how the glacier has changed over time, and then walked one of the nearby trails for stunning views of the glacier and Nugget Falls, a roaring waterfall that flows into the same glacial lake. Alrighty guys, so that was the Mendenhall Glacier. We got to see it for ourselves. It was beautiful, so impressive and majestic, and I mean, you can really feel the temperature shift. The closer you get to the glacier, you know, the temperature starts to drop. It feels cooler, it feels icier. Baby's a little bit fussy, so we ended up doing a shorter trail. We did the photo trail, which is only 0.5 kilometer. It's a little loop and it brings you to a nice photo spot. You've got a lookout where you can see the waterfall and the glacier as well. And yeah, it was quite nice. The only surprising thing for us was the amount of people that were there. It was almost a bit overwhelming. This has been the most, I would say, crowded tourist attraction we have been to out of every port of call we have visited during this cruise. So that's something to keep in mind. I mean, of course, this is the main attraction here in Juneau, so it is to be expected, but we were still a little overwhelmed by the thousands of people there. So yeah, just something to keep in mind. But overall, still very glad we went, because the crowds do not take away from the beauty of the glacier itself. So yeah, we hope you enjoyed the scenery and the footage we were able to capture.
So we just finished visiting the glacier, and now we are making the trek back to the public bus. We're going to be catching the number 8 back there. We can officially count it. Well, after an action-packed morning visiting the glaciers, we came back, stuffed our beaks with pizza, and I've been tasked with exploring downtown Juneau, and I couldn't be happier. I have the energy, the excitement, and I'm going to show you as much as I can in just about 2 hours time. One thing I can say so far is that I'm loving the frontier vibe here in Juneau. Reminds me quite a bit of where we're living in a rural area in southern Alberta. This place has a lot of history, a lot of character. Some bars have been open since the late 1800s as well, so there's plenty of historical buildings worth checking out. And yeah, it's just been fun to pound the pavement so far. Friends, if you want to get off the beaten path a little bit, I recommend going down Gold Street. It's a fascinating kind of hilly street with a lot of residential homes. You get a much better idea of how people live here in the downtown part of Juneau. What's also fascinating is that as you get closer to the mountains and the hills, you have these steep steps that lead all the way up to certain properties. This is exactly what I'm talking about. These apparently lead up to homes. So let's walk up a bit and see what we can find. Check this out. For instance, this staircase leads up to the home, and you can see that the home itself connects with a side staircase. Fascinating. Friends, that took a little bit more effort to find, but that's exactly the kind of experiences that I love to have. It's nice to get away from all of the tourist crowds and to actually walk around and feel like you're exploring, seeing how locals live. And if you want to do exactly what I just did, just head to Harris and 4th Street and then head up the stairs. I'm having a blast wandering through the residential areas here of Juneau, and guys, look how high up I got. Check that out. Got a long way to go back down. I'm going down 5th Street. I'm going down 5th Street. And friends, this is a path that I randomly found going down 5th Street, heading down the hill, trying to get back to the cruise ship. Woohoo! This is awesome. Well, friends, that concludes my brief walking tour of Juneau. As they say, it's never crowded along the extra mile. And by that, I mean my favorite experience here by far was just getting off the beaten path a little bit, walking up the hills, and visiting the residential area. That is a very, very fascinating place to check out because a lot of the homes are located on the mountains, on the hills. So I really enjoyed getting the time to do this. I didn't have a lot of time, so that's what you can do with a couple hours here of free time. And I highly recommend doing it. So my biggest tip would be if you can head up the hills, if you can head up the mountain to check out the residential area, I think you're going to find that it's the most charming and the most fascinating place to visit here in Juneau.
So while Sam went out for the walking tour of Juneau, Baby and I had a little nap.
Little Munchy Candle had a nap.
Waking up.
Oh, hello.
Are you feeling well rested, baby? Hi. Are you feeling well rested? Did you sleep like a princess? Yeah. Like Sleeping Beauty?
Yeah.
I think you did.
Yes, I did.
So the plan, we're gonna go upstairs. Today's a bit of a shorter day in Juneau, so 3:30 was all aboard. 4 p.m. we are sailing off to our next destination.
Off to Sitka.
Off to Sitka. Yeah, so we wanna go watch that unfold.
Yeah, we're gonna watch that, get some of the shots from the port.
Let's get you dressed and let's go on up to the deck. Alrighty, 4 p.m. and we are setting off. Goodbye, Juneau.
Wham, bam, shazam. Goodbye, Juneau. These quick day trips are forcing us to really see and do as much as we can in a limited amount of time. And Juneau is a big place. It's like not a huge city in terms of population, but it's very spread out. I got the impression that if you really wanted to do a lot, if you wanted to do more hiking, if you wanted to do more of the outdoor adventure type activities, you'd want to give yourself a couple more days here for sure. But this was a great introduction. As fun as it was to see the glacier, and it's just a feast for the eyes, it's an incredible sight to behold. My favorite thing to do was to wander around town. And I just thought Juneau was a really interesting city in terms of like it has that mountain backdrop. But a lot of other cities that have a mountain backdrop, it's off in the distance. Juneau is just like right in your face. It's like, bam, here's your mountain right up against the coast. So I had a really good time here. It wasn't my favorite place on the Alaska trip, but I'm glad we had a chance to come and visit. And if I ever do come back to Juneau, I'd like to have a little bit more time to really delve into the nature activities. But that's it for us from Juneau. Next up is Sitka, so we hope you'll stay tuned for that. Thanks so much for watching. Ciao for now.
Day 6 brought us to our final port of call, Sitka, a coastal town with a fascinating blend of Tlingit, Russian, and American influences. Alrighty, good morning, and welcome to Sitka, Alaska. This is our fourth and final port of this cruise. And well, as you can see, the Alaskan weather is out in full force today. It was raining earlier this morning, now it has stopped, but it's quite gray and misty and moody. And today, we are going to be exploring independently. So in some of the previous destinations, we've been doing tours, we've been running around, getting on the bus to go see glaciers. Today we're gonna go at a slower pace. We're here in the marina, and our plan is to do the sea walk.
Oh, I'm just excited to be here. It looked like we were gonna have like horrendous weather. So I'm so thankful that it's just misty and overcast, no rain at the moment. We're gonna pound the pavement and see if we can explore nature. It's like I think you were saying, not a very serious itinerary today. Just let's see what we can get up to.
One reason why we're doing this lighter itinerary today is because we only have a few hours in Sitka. All aboard time is 1 p.m. So yes, just a few hours here, and we figured, okay, let's enjoy on foot instead of feeling rushed with tours. So that's the plan. Alrighty, so we have begun our little walking tour. We're next to the harbor at the moment.
Yeah, final port of call, Sitka, Alaska. And yeah, we're here at the port, and I was taking a look at the fishing boats, and what is strange is that most of these fishing boats, these ones, they seem to be all made out of metal. I don't know if it is aluminum, stainless steel, or whatever, but it reminds me of the Cybertruck, the Tesla.
Oh, yes.
You know, the shiny thing. Well, these boats, they look the same. The more modern ones, the older ones, they still look like, you know, traditional with the white hulls and stuff like that. But the new ones, they all look like cyber boats. No?
Cyber boats, that's a good name for them.
And another thing is that how high and low the tide is. The amount of difference between low tide and high tide is just amazing. I mean, 4 or 5 meters at least. Yesterday, when we got off the cruiser, we were at low tide in Juneau, and you could see the pylons, the barnacles, all the way up there. You know, I said, Audrey, look at the difference. You know, I never thought that that was going to be eventually underwater. And then when we came back from the tour of the city, it was high tide, and all the barnacles had disappeared and everything was underwater again. And I go, wow, you know, what a big difference. And also here, there's a lot of halibut fishing, you know. Halibut, that fish that is very strange looking, kind of flat with a white belly like. Some of those specimens that you can catch here, they are huge. They are monsters of the deep. So a lot of people come here to do you know, recreational fishing, like sports fishing, stuff like that. So if you like to fish, I would suggest this is a good destination, because you see advertised everywhere. The tours are, you know, all day fishing. They take you out, and it is not cheap, because what I was looking at the prices, roughly for an all-day fishing excursion, is around $700-800 US. So it's not that you know, that cheap. But if you're into fishing and you want to see if you can catch some of the big ones, I think these are the places to be. Now it started raining.
Yes.
We're gonna get wet, and there is no other way to do it.
Let's do it. Into the rain we go.
Let's jump in the water.
Let's
Come
go.
on.
Hey, I went in and visited the National Historic Park. That is the lungs of the city, the most beautiful place to go if you're seeking nature. And guys, I'm drenched, look at me.
Look.
But it was worth it, totally worth it. That, I think, might be one of the most beautiful trails we've been on during our entire trip to Alaska on this cruise. And you know what? This weather reminds me so much of my hometown, Gold River, Vancouver Island. So this felt natural and appropriate that I was out getting blasted by rain. in all directions, I should say. The rain was like not just coming down or vertically, it was also like horizontally blowing in my face. But what you'll appreciate the most if you take the time to visit that park, not just the extensive trail system, it's beautiful, but also you get a chance to see a lot of different totem poles. In fact, I think it's the most totem poles we've seen at any particular trail that we've been on. Beautifully carved, beautifully preserved, and you get to walk right along the coast as well. So you get some stunning views of the coastline. The forest itself is just so dense, so lush. You've got those giant big trees. You've got moss. It's just teeming with nature. And yeah, definitely check it out. It's not that far from the downtown, and it's worth it if you think you've got the legs to head out on there. So highly recommend.
Alrighty, we are indoors in a little corner here in the visitor center. It is crowded because it is really wet out there.
Yeah.
So we're all trying to stay dry, and there's a museum in the visitor center. So we've all had the same idea and kind of gone in there.
Yeah.
It's nice and small. It's cozy. Admission is $5 per person. But it covers the history of Sitka pretty well. The highlights,
really,
I would say.
It really hits up the highlights. So
Yeah.
it starts with, its First Nations, its indigenous history, then goes to its Russian history,
Yes.
which is super fascinating. Even though it's raining, I may go around and try to film some of the Orthodox churches that are in town.
Okay, good for you.
Yeah. And then, of course, it's American history.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting is that here in Sitka, this was the first capital of Alaska. A lot of people
Before
don't know
Juneau.
that.
Yeah.
A lot of the people don't even know it's Juneau now. They probably think it's Anchorage, but Sitka was the former capital of Alaska.
Yeah, and just to mention quickly, they also cover the history of like the transfer of the land from
Right.
Russia to the United States, and they talk about like what kind of emotions were running through the residents, through the town. Apparently, people were very sad because even though they were Russians, like Sitka, for many residents, was the only home they had ever known. Like,
Sure.
This is my home, this is my country, and all of a sudden it belongs to a different nation.
Yeah.
It was quite heartbreaking for them. And they say that when they had the transfer ceremony, the Russian princess was just like crying as they lowered the Russian flag for the last time. So yeah, it's interesting to take the time and read the descriptions of what that event was
Yeah,
like.
absolutely. I would say it's a great rainy day activity and very informative if you take the time to. There's really good information. Aside has very thoughtful displays, but lots of text, lots of information. So yeah, you could spend a good half an hour in there if you have the time to do that. So recommend it for sure.
Alrighty, so we are back on board with little baby hanging out in one of the bars because it's where we were able to find a quiet little spot.
That's true.
Everybody's on board, so it's busy.
All aboard means there aren't too many hidden gems, this being one of them.
What can you tell us about today's walk?
What an interesting day. This was the one day where weather kind of defeated us, I would say. And you guys ended up seeking shelter and going back to the cruise ship early, which I totally understand. What I ended up doing was doing a self-guided walking tour of Sitka in the rain. So there were a lot of really interesting places to visit. I got to check out sort of the Russian heritage side of the city, which included like the church, the cathedral. So yeah, it was just an interesting kind of way to spend the day. I got soaked, walked around. I checked out the downtown area, and I think the most interesting store I ended up finding was a Russian Christmas store. And
the Christmas ornaments.
Yes, they had really, really high quality stuff. I was thinking like if you and your mom were in there, you would have absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was neat checking out Sitka. Kind of reminded me a little bit of some places that, again, I keep going back to my Vancouver Island days, but kind of reminded me a little bit of like Campbell River and Port McNeill and Port Hardy. These port towns that are small, compact. They have their own little unique charms and quirks. And I also understand why we were only there for half a day. It was a very small place and can be covered easily on foot. So You know, it would have been nice to have a little bit better weather to go on some longer hikes together as a family. But you know, it is what it is. And yeah, I'm back on board with my Jongi Mong, and we overall had a decent day. We just shows you, like, you know, when you come out to this part of the world, when you come out to Alaska, if you're on Vancouver Island, you have to be prepared for rain. In fact, like, if you went on a trip and didn't have at least one rainy day, that would be weird. That was basically our final day sightseeing out here on our Alaska cruise. And I thought we made the most of it.
Yes.
What do you think, Relly? Huh?
Wow,
She's
I
like,
want
"Wah.
action.
I want action, action."
Yes.
So with that, we'll say goodbye. Relly's ready to go, so I suppose I am too. Ta-ta for now.
Day 7 was another sea day as we cruised down the coast of Alaska and British Columbia, this time via the Inside Passage. We spent the day exploring the ship and discovering a few places that we had originally missed, like the kids program. That's right, Norwegian Cruise Line has a kids program called Splash Academy, and within that they have Guppies, which is for 6-month-old babies to 3-year-olds. They have a soft play area with loads of toys that are swapped out daily, and our daughter loved it. I wish we had found this place earlier, but we made up for lost time. And just so there's no confusion, parents have to stay with their kids at Guppies. This is not a daycare or babysitting service.
Oh, it's got the cool map too, look. Oh, yeah.
Guppies. Just like at home, your playmat.
Yeah. It's like being at home.
All right, this is Guppies at Splash Academy.
Yeah, this is so cool. We didn't discover this until literally the last day at sea. But this is a beautiful place they have set up for, this is for 6 months to 3 years old. Look at this mat. It's almost like being at home. We have a gymnastics mat just like this.
Cute.
And she's having a great time. She's just, the thing that she's lacked maybe a little bit on this trip is tummy time and crawl practice. And so she's just having a ball being here. Look, look.
Yeah, girl.
Oh, new toys to play with.
And this has to be like parent supervised play. It's not that you get a babysitter or anything.
No, you don't just dump your kid off and go have champagne. This is like you come and you get down on your hands and knees with your kid and you get a chance to play together.
Which we love.
Do we like? Can we come back on the mat a bit? Ooh. Are we having fun together? Oh, look. Wah, wah.
And that brings us to day 8, our arrival in Vancouver. While disembarkation looked pretty chaotic, once we were off the cruise ship, it was a breeze. We waltzed through immigration and the ferry terminal, walked a couple of blocks to Waterfront Station, and then hopped on a train bound for the airport where we boarded our short flight from Vancouver to Calgary. And that wraps up our 7-day Alaska cruise aboard the Norwegian Sun. This was a completely new type of travel for us, and we honestly loved the ease of it. We weren't sure what to expect bringing a baby, but it was a very positive experience and one we'll definitely be repeating. This cruise was also really meaningful because we got to share it with family. Alaska had been a dream destination for my parents and we got to see it together. So if you enjoyed cruising Alaska with us, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe for more travel adventures, and drop a comment below. We'd love to hear if Alaska is on your bucket list or if you've already been. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.